A very good morning and welcome from wherever you're watching the Power Breakfast Show on Citizen TV. My name is Charles Odhiambo, and this day we are scattered all over the country trying to make sure that you are abreast with everything that is happening in regard to what has been touted as an event that is captivating or holding people's attention across the country. You can get in touch with us and give us your feedback on what you think about our coverage of the event, as well as our other programs on 22422, Twitter handle at Citizen TV Kenya, hashtag Power Breakfast, and at Odhiambo Charlie, and at Willis Raburu, who was supposed to be with us but is out there, like I said, just making sure that you are the first to know whatever unfolds in every corner of the world. Shortly, we'll be looking at what's in the news. And the big question is, will NASA leaders make good their threat to swear in Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka today? Hours to the controversial event, NASA is insisting that it will go ahead with the oathing, setting the stage for a confrontation with police who have banned the inauguration ceremony at Uhuru Park, Nairobi. Sam Ogina opens our bulletin this morning with that report.
The opposition is talking controversy in its determination to proceed with the inauguration of its leaders. Despite police warning that Uhuru Park is a no-go zone, NASA insists it will storm the venue for the controversial ceremony.
This was done in bad faith after they received our application to use Uhuru Park. It is meant to sabotage our event. But we say that we exercising our sovereign authority. We will be at Uhuru Park.
The facility being claimed by two rival groups, NASA and the Nairobi business community.
Nairobi business community or no Nairobi business community, police order to cancel or no police order to cancel, there is absolutely nothing whatsoever that can stop this ceremony from taking place tomorrow.
A section of Kikuyu elders holding what they said was a cleansing ceremony to cleanse the park.
Our elders who have asked that for avoidance of any doubt in their own wisdom that we do not hold the circumcision ceremony tomorrow. When elders in our community speak, that is final.
Police chiefs held a day-long meeting to strategize on ways of halting the swearing-in plan. Nairobi Police Chief Japheth Koome has said no one will be granted access to Uhuru Park, a dicey situation unfolding. This is the first time in the nation's history that an opposition leader has declared his resolve for being sworn in after a disputed election. NASA leaders spent the inauguration eve in court in what appeared like a coded message to their supporters ahead of the Tuesday's event. While NASA co-principal Kalonzo Musyoka and Musalia Mudavadi were in Machakos law courts for Wavinya Ndeti's petition against Governor Alfred Mutua,
and read that together, my Lord.
NASA principal Raila Odinga was at the Milimani law courts for the hearing of the petition against Embakasi East MP Babu Owino.
So they will be sworn in as the president, 5th president of the Republic of Kenya. Yes.
So Kenya will be having two presidents?
Kenya will not have two presidents. There has been an imposter.
In the face of defiance, the clergy from the lower eastern region have warned against the opposition's inauguration, saying it sets the stage for conflict. The church urging for dialogue.
We understand that this may disappoint many of your followers who are cheering you towards being sworn in, but this is not worthy the consequences it might bring.
Now, in a related development, the Kenya Editors Guild has condemned what it terms as threat and intimidation of the media by President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto over the coverage of Odinga's inauguration ceremony today. In a statement to newsrooms, Guild Chair Linus Kaikai cited a meeting that was held at State House on Friday, in which Kenyatta and Ruto reportedly warned several editors and media managers ahead of the event. Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, his ICT counterpart Joe Musheru, and the Attorney General Githu Muigai are also said to have attended the meeting. And in the statement, the Guild says that, and I quote, The Guild is upheld by the details of the meeting, which was held under an atmosphere of intimidation for the media representatives. This brazen threat is intended to intimidate the media from performing its rightful role of informing the public. The Guild further reminds the President that the media is not an actor in the ongoing contest between Jubilee and NASA over the outcome of the last general election. The media remains a mere messenger and a chronicler of any event happening in the country. Consequently, the Editors Guild condemns and rejects the threats and purported instructions that are issued from State House. State House will be recalled as having said that they are ready to work with the government and all time, and to carry out their work diligently, reporters must be given a time and space to work independently. While saying that freedom of the media is protected by the Constitution, the Guild has asked that the government ensure that journalists are neither harmed nor intimidated as they perform their work today and thereafter. The papers are covering the event this morning. The Standard headline, Moment of Truth. What next? Kenyans today wake up to uncertainty and apprehension. The state has vowed to stop the planned swearing in of NASA leader Raila Odinga. The state has also threatened to shut down and revoke licenses of media houses that broadcast the event. But NASA insists that the show will go on. The event is covered in details, or preparations for the event is covered in details on page 4 and 5, where there's a splash tension as NASA vows to go ahead with swearing in. Youth storm Nyong'o's office in Kisumu and demand that they be given buses to ferry them to Nairobi. And elsewhere, Governor and MP clash over Raila Oath Plan. Narok North MP Moitalel Ole Kenta clashed with the Governor Samuel Tunai and some Jubilee MPs over today's swearing in of NASA leader Raila Odinga. Now, this happened in a church at the weekend where the outspoken MP told faithful that NASA would swear in their president in court since President Uhuru Kenyatta had rejected dialogue with Raila. Elsewhere, the commentary or the reports about the reaction by the Editors Guild is also captured in page 4 of the Standard. The Daily Nation, what to expect this day of conflict at a glance. Now, these are what the Nation says is known. At 8:30, the public will be seated. At 9, opposition MPs and other invited guests arrive. At 10, NASA principals led by Raila Odinga make their grand entry into Uhuru Park. At 11, speech by one of the members coordinating the People's Assembly. At 12, Raila to take oath as the People's President, then gives his speech. Now, this, according to the Nation, is what is not known. Who will swear in Raila and Kalonzo? What kind of oath will they be taking? What happens next after the oath? And what will Raila tell his supporters? And where will Raila and Kalonzo go after the ceremony? Police plans? According to the Nation, the Regional Commissioner Bernard Laparmarai says that no illegal assembly will be allowed in Nairobi. GSU and administration police officers will be stationed at Uhuru Park and surrounding areas. Plainclothes police officers will patrol the city and guard against looting, mugging, and destruction of property. Prison warders temporarily gazetted as police officers and have been mobilized. And Nairobi County Police Commander maintains that Uhuru Park will be out of bounds for the public. More on this, page 4, page 5, and page 6 of the Daily Nation. At Citizen TV, remember, like I told you earlier, we have our reporters scattered across the country to keep you posted on what's happening. Stephen Leto is at Uhuru Park. Wilkista Nyabwa is at Karen Raila Odinga's residence. Bernard Ndong is in the CBD. Mercy Kandie is in Karen at Kalonzo Musyoka's residence. Willis Raburu is stationed in Kisumu, and Sam Kituku will be at the court. Remember, the Attorney General Githu Muigai had filed a case challenging the legality of the People's Assemblies, and they'll be keeping us posted on what's happening there. We'll also be looking at what people are saying in the other social media sites and communication avenues. We actually have just received a press statement that was released by NASA. They say NASA is set for the swearing in of its leaders. And a quick look at it, the National Super Alliance wishes to inform supporters and the nation at large that the swearing in of Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga and His Excellency Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka as President and Deputy President of the people respectively is as has been announced earlier. All plans are in place to ensure this event is conducted peacefully and successfully at the Uhuru Park grounds in Nairobi from 8 a.m. Now, NASA wishes to advise supporters to be seated by 7 a.m. ready to receive their leaders. We intend to hold a peaceful event in total compliance with the Constitution and the law. We therefore advise those attending this historic event to observe peace and avoid confrontation with police officers at all costs. We nonetheless wish to put the Jubilee administration on notice that we will accomplish our mission come hell or high water. We advise our supporters to come prepared to stay until our mission is accomplished. Signed by Norman Magaya, CEO, NASA. And like I told you, a number of our reporters are out in the field. Francis Gashuri is stationed at Gong Road and will be telling us what's happening there. Stephen Leto is at Uhuru Park. Wilkis Tanyabwa will be stationed at in Karen at the residence of Raila Odinga. Bernard Ndong is in the CBD. Mercy Kandie is in Karen at the residence of Kalonzo Musyoka. Willis Aburu is in Kisumu, and Sam Kituku is at the High Court, ready to tell us anything that transpires in regard to the case that was filed by the Attorney General, Githu Muigai, challenging the legality of the People's Assembly. To other stories. Now, a humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Langata, where about 14,000 people were displaced by a slum fire that left 4 people dead. Tens of children who are yet to trace their mothers will actually spent the night in the cold around tents that were set up after the blaze that gutted their parents' homes in Kijiji slums. Deputy President William Ruto visited the fire victims and assured them that the government will spend about 70 million shillings to rebuild their homes. Laura Otieno reports on this.
Sunday night, Kijiji area in Langata went up in flames, the inferno catching residents by surprise. And when day broke, the full impact of the blaze became apparent. Utensils, household items, and even food lay on the ground, destituted. Maria Mohammed walks us through what used to be her home for 7 years. She and her 4 children were watching TV when someone frantically knocked on her door.
Nikakutana na mvuke wa harufu. Tukitoka nje tukapata tayari ishaanza kuenea.
She had to whisk her children to safety. They spent the night out in the cold. Her second-born having gone to school to sit for exams.
Ameenda nangu ile yenye alilala naye tu ndio ameenda kwa sababu alikuwa kwaende akafanya mtihani ya ako darasa la 8 ya inaitwa nini? Hii mtihani wenye wanafanya ya kufanya index.
Nearby, 55-year-old Regina Shiramba comes through the debris of her 5 houses. For 26 years, this had become a haven for her. She was away when the fire broke out. Her frail state could not allow her to rush back to salvage a thing.
Alikuja kaniambia nyumba yako imeisha, sikukuja. Ndio alianza kuchomeka. Sikukuja. Nikakaa huko. Nikalala hapo kwa barabara mpaka saa hii.
According to the National Disaster Management Unit, about 6,000 households that sat in this informal settlement were razed down. Up to 14,000 people now left without shelter. At the nearby Ngei Primary School, children, oblivious to the going-ons, are feeding. While wishes brought in food supplies, most of the children yet to reunite with their parents after last night's chaos. A counseling center has been set up.
Temporarily, hawa watu ni wengi na wengine wamelala kwa barabara, wengine wamelala classroom hapa. Kama kuna tents unazo, leto register hapa, hata kama ni yako private, itatumika, utarudishiwa na incident management team, kuna logistic itapokea na itarudisha.
Visiting the area, Deputy President William Ruto said the government would spend 70 million shillings for reconstruction. Ruto also pledging to expand road networks after residents said firefighting trucks could not drive through the narrow alleys in the slum.
Tuweke barabara kidogo hapo ili moto ikitoka tena, sawa sawa, ili moto ikitokea tena tuwe na mahali ambapo magari ya kuzima moto itapita.
Residents claim the response by the Nairobi Fire Brigade was painfully slow, this prompting the county government to send the officer in charge of fire and rescue services, Brian Chungoli Kisali, on compulsory leave pending investigations.
Thank you very much, Laura. Now on to matters education, where a new online system aimed at streamlining the management of schools, combating corruption, as well as examination cheating has been launched by the Ministry of Education. All schools in the country are supposed to adopt the system within the next 24 days, and the system allows real-time monitoring of teachers, classroom attendance, enrollment, and the usage of funds, among other things. During the launch of the exercise or the event, the National Education Management Information System, Education Permanent Secretary Dr. Belio Kipsang also announced the abolishment of National Examination Index numbers for candidates, as Patrick Igunza reports.
Exam cheating, mismanagement in schools, teacher and student absenteeism are among the challenges facing the education sector. But all these vices are set to reduce, if not come to an end, thanks to a new digital data collection platform dubbed National Education Management Information System, Nemis.
We are going to do this for the next 24 days up to 20th of February, when we expect to have captured most of this data, so that we can be able to run an analysis and see the effectiveness and whether we are achieving the expectations and achieving the objectives for which we invested in Nemis.
For a country with close to 15 million learners, the system will be instrumental in the collection, storage and dissemination of critical school data, including the number of students, teachers and non-teaching staff, as well as assets being held by schools.
We are all aware we spend almost 90 billion shillings on our free primary and free secondary, and we would want to ensure that the accuracy and the accountability of those resources can be quickly checked, and anybody can be able to go into the National Education Management Information System and get information.
Nemis will also help improve the quality of education by enabling stakeholders to track the status of education in regard to access, quality, equity, relevance and efficiency, as well as institutional development.
The most important thing is that it will assist us when we are doing policy, that policy will be informed by information.
Part of the system's hallmark will be the issuance of a unique personal identification numbers to schools and learners. The UPIs will replace the current index numbers and will be used by learners throughout their education life.
It will be used to track you as you progress. It will also assist us even at school level when we are doing a performance analysis and all issues that pertains to the child, the attendance to school, all that. It will be easy. We have also a module that deals with the other aspects of education, like teacher management.
According to Education PS Belio Kipsang, the new UPIs will be used in this year's national exams. Belio was speaking in Naivasha at the closing of a 4-day workshop on the mid-year review of the Primary Education Development Project.
And finally, Head of Public Service Joseph Kinyua submitted the list of 9 Cabinet Secretary nominees, 7 Principal Secretary nominees, as well as 7 Envoy nominees to Parliament. In a letter dated yesterday, Kinyua formally wrote to the National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi, who doubles up as the chair of the Committee on Appointments, saying that the President Uhuru Kenyatta had asked to have the names forwarded yesterday. Muturi will now be expected to begin the 7-day process of public participation for interested parties to submit affidavits and memoranda on the suitability or otherwise of the nominees. This ahead of another 7 days of interviews by the Appointments Committee. The committee's report will therefore be ready by the 13th of February when Parliament resumes from recess. Once approved by Parliament, Kenyatta will be at liberty to have the CSS take office. Now that's just about all that we had for you in the news this morning. After a short commercial break, we'll be looking at what's making headlines in the papers. And remember, as I told you earlier, our reporters are scattered across the country, ready to bring your best to whatever transpires in every corner regarding the swearing-in ceremony that is supposed to be held today by NASA at Uhuru Park. Stephen Leto, remember, is camping at Uhuru Park. Wilkis Tanyabwa is